last 10 years, if you see, the literacy rate has increased from 51.63% to 65.38% in the last 10 years. And it has made the Indian citizens increasingly aware of their rights. So now the citizens have become very clever, and they know their rights. And nowadays in the if you see in debates, and also most of the people are talking about their right to freedom. And in whenever something happens, they say it is being mentioned in article this and article that in the Constitution of India. So now Indians are more knowledgeable and they are more aware, and it is the only reason is because we have become more literate. So it has jumped from 51.63% to 65.38%, and that is why we know our rights better, since we are more educated. Okay. Now citizens have become more articulate. They know what exactly they want, and they respond to their demands also, and they anticipate, they expect that the government should give us these all things. Okay. So now since 1996, the government has created something very effective and responsive administration has started. Before 1996, the government was not so effective and responsive. Okay. So now let us talk about something where the government has also started playing an active role for the Citizens Charter. Okay. Yes, just let me wrap this. Yes. So I'll give you some information which is very, very, because see what happens in UPSC exams, and especially in economics, they are mostly asking you the current affairs or the related topics which are from the past 10 years. What is the transition which has happened? Okay. So I am going to give you some inputs of transition of Citizens Charter also. So let me just explain you. So I'll keep on giving you the vital information time and time whenever I have new and updated information. Okay. So now this is the new information. So the Department of Administrative Reforms. So what is reforms? Reforms means changes. To reform. So if you break the word also, okay, it means reform means to make some new changes or to build something again. Okay, so reforms and public grievances in government of India. So I'm writing a short form here. So what is the short form? It is called as DARPG. So let's repeat again. Let's say together. So DARPG means Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances in Government of India. Okay. So what did they do? They initiated or they started the task of coordinating, formulating and operationalizing Citizens Charter. So you have to remember these three vital steps. First is coordinating, formulating and bringing it into operations. That is called as operationalizing. So these three things the DARG has brought. Okay, now there are some certain guidelines which this DARPG has brought. So these are certain things which there's a list where there's do's and don'ts. Okay, which were communicated to various government departments or organization to bring about or focus on the effective charters. Now for the formulation of the charters, the government agencies at the state and center, okay, were advised to constitute a task force which is dedicated on this Citizens Charter, and there was senior management and there was a complete staff which was dedicated for this. Okay. So principally, as I said, that Citizens Charter was an adaptation which was a UK model, and in the Indian Citizens Charter has an additional constituent. So let us just explain this point. So let me explain to you this. So principally, an adaptation of the UK, that is United Kingdom model, the Indian Citizens Charter has an additional constituent of expectation. So this is an addition which India has adapted itself. Expectations from the client. So it's mentioned as expectation from the clients. Okay, so they consider the citizens as clients also. So involvement of consumer organizations are there in the Citizens Charter. Then there are citizens group, so citizens groups and other stakeholders in the formulation of the Citizens Charter is highlighted. So where is it highlighted? Let me mention this also. Highlighted to confirm that the Citizens Charter fulfills the needs of the users. Okay, so there is a regular monitoring and review and evaluation of charters, both internally and through external agencies are commanded. Okay, so let me give you some more information here. So regular monitoring, review and evaluation of the charters, both internally and through external agencies are brought up. Okay, now till April 2006, so let me continue with a very vital point. Till April 2006, 111 citizens, so this is very important point, citizens charters had been articulated. So articulated means they were being improved or improvised or changed or brought up by the central government ministries, departments, organizations and 668 charters by various agencies of state governments and administrations of the union territories. Okay, so this is a vital point. Now most of the charters, where will you find, as I again said, that most of the national charters are posted on the government's website and are open to public to scrutinize and to find out. So you will find it in the government website, and the organizations with citizens charters are advised to give publicity to their charters through, so there's a publicity at the time of election. You will see that the citizens charter is given a, advertised, and sometimes it has been publicized by way of printing or electronic media, and by awareness to all the citizens. Okay, so this is heavily publicized, especially publicly at the time of elections also. Okay, now we will come to the next one, as we already spoken about the objectives. So now we will talk about the salient or the most important features of citizens charter. Okay, so let me write down here: salient features of a citizen's charter. Okay, so as I said, the first one is agreed and published standards for service and delivery. Second, there must be openness. So openness and information about service delivery. Third, choice and consultation with users. Fourth, courtesy and helpfulness in service delivery. Fifth, provision of redressal. What is redressal? Any problems, or if they have some grievances, so that's called as redressal of grievances. So these are the things, as I said. Now these are the agreed and published standards for service. So let us just explain you one by one the points. So the first one, if you see, is standards. Now the charter, should lay out the exactly standards of service of delivery, so that they understand that what is expected, the citizens are expected to, what kind of standards they are expected, and it should be time bound, that from time to time they must be updated, and the actual performance of the standards must be published in the government websites. Okay, where to your own citizens, the citizens can see that what are the standards and what should be avoided, so that you do not break the standards. Now, regarding the second point, let's discuss about the second point, that is the openness and information about service delivery. Okay, so a key attribute of good services is the availability of relevant and concise information to the users at the right time and at the right place. So every time the information should be sent across to the citizens. Okay, so the charters should contain in plain language full and accurate information about the services available, what is the level, what is the quality of services to be expected, what are the available channels through which I can get these services, or if I am not getting these services, what is the grievance and redressal, etc. So there must be some handbooks or some guides or some posters or some websites, which are the certain channels through which the information can be provided to the citizens. So that is the second one which I discussed just now. The third one, that is the choice and consultation. Now the charter should provide the choice of services to users wherever it is practicable. Okay, and there should be regular and systematic consultation with the users of the service to fix certain service standards, and to find and to make sure that the quality is not compromised and the quality of service should be delivered right on time. Okay, so that is what is the main third point, that is about choice and consultation with users. Okay, the fourth one. So the fourth one is courtesy and helpfulness. Now, the charter can, have a good culture of courteous, because Indians are very courteous, they're very kind, and they must be very helpful from public servants. So public servants should be very helpful, and whenever you're in need, then you must always be courteous and righteous and, virtuous, so that, you help your citizens. Now, in addition, there must be some small initiatives, like say for example, when you go to a bank and when you go to the teller, now I don't know it's there or not, but generally it is to be written, may I help you. Okay, so that is the, like, the certain counters should be given, especially in Aadhaar card also services, you see that is given, may I help you. So, so that is a long way. It's these small initiatives will bring a long way in building the customers confidence. So that is very, very important, that we must have certain initiatives such as name badges should be there. Hi, I'm this, I'm so and so, may I help you. How we do it in private organizations, especially people like to go to KFC and McDonald's for the only reason is they are very friendly, they're very customer friendly, they give a very cute smile and they say that, hi, I'm so and how may I help you, and I hope you're having a great day. So that is so that brings up the confidence towards the citizens also, if the government also acts, or the government or the public servants also are so friendly and courteous and very helpful. Okay, coming to the last one, that is the provision